going on, everybody? Nazdarachi back again with another episode of Relic Review for Final Fantasy Record Keeper. Today, we're going to be covering a little bit more second anniversary information, as well as the Banner 2 for the Scheming Tyrant Final Fantasy II event. In my personal opinion, Banner 2 is a little bit of a stronger banner. It is focused kind of more around Maria and some of the other supporting characters in Final Fantasy II. Now, if you specifically want Furion's Burst Soulbreak, or his Overstrike, or stuff for the Emperor, you're going to want to stick with Banner 1. But in my opinion, Maria does seem to be a little bit of a stronger spellcaster, unless you're going for Wind or Dark synergy. Now, she is focused around Earth, which is a little bit less damage and a little bit less used, but she has a very powerful Burst Soulbreak, and her Overstrike does complement it, even though it's kind of average. Now as well, they did add the Conquest Raid Dungeon. For multiplayer, you're looking at 3 waves of 4 Black Knights. They are exclusively physical damage, and each knight is capable of inflicting different debuffs on your parties. So you're going to want to bring good physical mitigation and some breaks for physical damage, and you should be able to weather the storm if you have a good team composition. Now, the second anniversary information that I wanted to cover real quick is a little bit of the details of what's going to happen on the 25th. Now, when the 25th hits, there is, for 24 hours only, going to be a free 11 draw. It's the second anniversary Player's Choice draw. Again, it's only available for 24 hours, so you're not going to want to miss it because it is free. As well, starting a little bit later that day, there'll be another second anniversary draw. And at the same time, there will be a Conquer the Shadow Lord event that launches. Now, starting at the same time the free draw starts, there'll be the X Records Beyond the Omega and a Mithril Treasure Dungeon. And all that stuff is only available for 24 hours. I have the information pictured over to the side, so check that out. You're definitely going to want to log in on the 25th and get your free draw and knock out as much of that stuff as you can, because it's going to be different stuff the next day. So with that aside, we can check out this Relic banner here. So, we do have the first item coming in, the Celine Bow. It is the Kerplode 32, or XXXII. It is a magic-oriented weapon at 115 attack, 162 magic, and 78 mind. It doesn't have a constant bonus effect, but you do get a synergy boost to your earth damage in Final Fantasy II dungeons, which do not come around very often, but it can be helpful as well for the Torment dungeon. Overstrike, again, Kerplode 32, deal massive magic earth and non-elemental damage to one target, can break the damage cap. By itself, it is just kind of an average earth Overstrike Soulbreak, but if you do happen to have her Burst Soulbreak as well, that will feed into this and make this more powerful with her infuse the earth to the user buff. You have about a 1.21% chance to draw this item in your draws. Honestly, it's not terrible, but I think I would prefer to get her Burst Soulbreak over this, if not both. Next up here, we have the Radiant Lance for Gordon. It is 135 attack, 68 magic, no bonus effects whatsoever. Burst Soulbreak, Egil's Blaze, deal 6 physical fire and non-elemental attacks to all targets, grant Last Stand to all allies, and grant haste and burst mode to the user. It by itself is not an amazing Soulbreak, but the Last Stand function can be amazing when you're in the shit, especially in high-level boss fights. It can prevent you from dying, so it by itself is definitely something that makes this Soulbreak highly functional. Without it, it probably wouldn't be nearly as good. Burst abilities Royal Resolve, deal physical damage to one target and temporarily lower its attack a large amount. Survivor's Will, deal physical damage to one target and temporarily lower its defense a large amount. These are good breaks. They are a large amount, so they will stack pretty well and impair your target fairly decently. You have about a 0.73% chance to draw this item, and overall, Last Stand being the highlight of it, it is not a bad Burst Soulbreak. Definitely will come in handy if you use him for Torment dungeons. Next item has been around for a while. It is the Runegraven Bow for Maria, no bonus effects, 81 attack, 126 magic, and again, this is her Burst Soul Break, Meteor 16. It's been around for quite a while. Deal 8 magic, earth, and non-elemental attacks to one target, grant haste and burst mode to the user, and temporarily infuse the user with the power of earth. By itself, it is a single target, 8 attack. It's basically like a magic version of Cloud's new Burst Soul Break, but earth instead of wind. Now, the burst abilities are fairly good on this. Break, deal 3 to 6 magic, earth, and non-elemental attacks to one target with a small chance to petrify them. The number of attacks dealt depends on the user's magic. And Sunfire, deal 2 magic, earth, and fire attacks to all targets. Temporarily lower the user's defense and raise the user's magic a moderate amount. So most likely you will want to lead with Sunfire, and then you will go into Break after using that, and maybe Onion Knight and whatever other buffs you may have. You can get those 6 magic attacks, which tend to deal a pretty reasonable amount of damage. Again, it is earth-based, so it's not the most powerful element, but it is one that many enemies generally aren't super resistant to. Similar to poison, but I tend to prefer poison a little bit better. Your percent chance to draw this item is around 0.6%, very low so far the numbers are showing for this draw. All in all, her Burst Soul Break is pretty time tested and it is pretty good. So your next item here is the Rune Axe. It is for Leon. Burst Soul Break, attack 130, no other stats on it whatsoever. Deal 8 physical dark attacks to one target, grant haste and burst mode to the user, and temporarily infuse the user with the power of dark. It can be good for dark synergy, I guess, but all in all, it is not as good as Gordon's Burst Soul Break, or Maria's, honestly. Burst abilities, Blood Spoils, deal physical dark damage to one target, healing the user for a portion of the damage dealt. It's just a single attack to one target for a heal. Not terrifically useful, but it can help you out if you need that healing aspect, or if you're banking on dark synergy. Ambition's Pride, deal 2 physical dark attacks to one target, temporarily lower the user's resistance, and raise the user's attack a moderate amount. You will want to lead with Burst Command 2, but both abilities are low attack numbers and they are not terrifically standoutish. Now, hopefully the multiplier on the damage will be higher because there's less attacks, but again, all in all, this is the weakest Burst Soul Break out of the 3. Not too much a fan of this guy right here. You have about a 1.45% chance to draw it, so it makes perfect sense that the lesser quality item will have a higher percent chance to draw. Moving on, we have Joseph's Cloak here, down to the Super Soul Breaks. It is 17 attack, 113, 113, defense and resistance, identical to other light armors in the game, but of a physical nature. Minor ice resistance, constant bonus effect, which I guess can be useful in certain situations. Super Soul Break, Snow Crush, deal 6 physical ice and non-elemental attacks to all targets and grant haste to all allies. This is the Hastega effect can be useful, especially in Torment dungeons or for synergy, but by itself, this is not a above average Super Soul Break. It's just kind of average, maybe a little bit below. Realistically, the Hastega is the only thing keeping this thing afloat here. And you have about a 2.18% chance to draw this item. Moving on here, this is another one that's been around for a while. Super Soul Break Will of the White Mage for Minwu here, a healing staff, 55 attack, 100 magic, 121 mind. Kinda low stats, but it is Super Soul Break item, so nothing crazy. No bonus effects. Instantly Kiraga the whole party. That can be useful, but realistically there are better team heals in the game. Again, for Torment Dungeons, synergy, this is a good healing effect. Anytime you instantly restore HP to the party, that can definitely save your ass when you really need it the most, but again, I have Roaming Warrior this before just to test it out, and you would probably rather have something like Vanille's Burst Soul Break on your side, but again, in a bind, this can help you out. Minwu's character model also does look kind of cool. He looks like a Arabian Knight or something. But anyway, you have about a 2.12% chance to draw this item. Not really what I'd be shooting for out of this banner. Next up, we have Super Soul Break for Gordon here, the Gungir. So apparently he lifted Odin's spear from him somehow, and it's not even that great. But it does have 130 attack, 68 magic. Bonus effects are non-existent. Super Soul Break, Kashuan's Resolve. Temporarily raise the attack and magic of all allies a moderate amount, and enable each ally to avoid one physical attack. So it is kind of similar to Onion Knight's Burst Soul Break, but instead of Hastega, the team gets a physical blink, and obviously there's no burst mode for Gordon in this one. Other than that, it won't stack with Onion Knight, but it will stack with a reasonably large amount of other buffs. So again, for Torment Dungeons, for Synergy, this is a reasonably good support buffing ability to have, but for your A team, this is not going to be making the cut. You have about a 2.12% chance to pull this item as well. Not what I'd be looking for, but like I said, a reasonable buff. Super Soul Break here for Guy, the Ogre Killer. 130 attack, no other stats, and no bonus effects whatsoever. Super Soul Break Gaia Drum, deal 4 physical earth and non-elemental attacks to all targets, and temporarily lower their earth resistance. This is kind of trashy. I guess if you're rolling with this and a summoner who's pulling Titan, or Maria with her Burst Soul Break and Overstrike, it can add a little bit of functionality, but so far this is the worst Soul Break on the banner. Just best part about it is I guess it hits all enemies. Earth resistance though, really not a very good item. Definitely would not want to pull this one. 1.75% chance for it to show up in your draws. Hopefully you want to avoid that one like the plague. And we're down to unique Soul Break here, the Flame Shield for Gordon. You have 17 attack, 126 defense, 83 resistance, moderate fire resistance, always in effect, and your unique Soul Break has got a spell. Deal 3 ranged physical attacks to all targets and temporarily lower their attack and magic a large amount. I know this is a unique Soul Break, but honestly, in my opinion, it's better than Guy's Super Soul Break. This is actually not terrible. 3 ranged physical attacks to all targets, so it's breaking the entire enemy force, and it's lowering their attack and magic a large amount. So it's kind of useful no matter who your boss is, whether it's attack, magic, or both. So for a unique Soul Break, this is actually quite good. I wouldn't mind this if I was running Gordon as a support character. About a 2.18% chance to pull this shield here. And I believe that's everything. It is. So let's definitely knock out a 100 gem draw here. I would like Maria's Burst Soul Break if I could cherry pick any item from this banner. That's what I would want. But we're probably not going to get it. Cross your fingers though. No. We got El Zilcho. Now, just for shits and giggles, I am not opposed to throwing down for a 3 draw on this banner. I don't think 15 Mithril will kill me. So let's just see if we can get anything. Well, we got 1 5-star. Probably gonna be doo-doo. Oh, the Flame Shield. So, if I ever, in a reasonable amount of time, decide to do the Torment Dungeons, this could actually come in handy. I am not going to crap on this item right here. Honestly, not really what I wanted, but it's a 5-star item, and Gordon seems to have reasonable support abilities. So, again, that's all we're going to go for today. My 169 Mithril must remain intact because we are quickly approaching the 25th here, and I need as many resources as possible. In the meantime, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Relic Review. I hope you got all your ducks in a row for the 25th when all the shenanigans begin. As always, this is Nazdarachi. If you guys enjoyed the video, follow along. We'll definitely have about 2 episodes a week here unless something comes up and I'm unable to film one. Love doing the Relic reviews here. I hope you guys like them too. Feel free to give me a thumbs up if you feel like it. And I will catch you around the bend. Y'all have a great day. Later.